The episode starts with a fife, and Sarah talking in the living room. A fife then says, "You look a lot like your father, just like him. You are kind and have a generous heart." She recalls that, at the same age. His eyes also had a special shine. She also mentioned that she used to smell Sarah's father while he slept. Sarah then asks, "If you love my father so much, why are you angry with him?" A fife responds that he made a serious mistake. Sarah then calls him by another name. Elif decided she no longer wants to have contact with Aziz. When he is leaving the house, he ends up meeting her and prevents her from leaving. Elif, irritated, declares, "I don't want to see your face anymore." She tries to walk away, saying, "You're nothing but a disappointment to me." Aziz, however, insists that she can't leave. Elif turns and asks, "Who are you to stop me from going?" Aziz approaches Elif, stares and asks, "What do you still have to do with me?" And he replies, "If I said you're not leaving, then you're not." Leaving, he grabs her arm and takes her back inside. A fife, despite being younger, always took on the role of protector of her siblings. She says Sarah is very lucky to have a father like hers. At that moment, Oren appears at the door and says that he doesn't believe a fife has changed that much. He starts to remember a fife's cruel actions toward Hira. Elif confronts him, saying she's not his property. She affirms that he can't force her to stay. Aziz retorts, reminding her that she has a debt with him and will only leave after paying it off. After this discussion, he leaves the room, leaving Elif deeply shaken alone. Aziz reflects and regrets not doing things differently. Overcome with emotion, Oren hugs Sarah and says, "Come, my daughter." Sarah says she was going to sleep with her grandmother that night. Oren asks her to listen to him, as he just came from the hospital. The next morning, Elif is in her room, praying for her father. Then she calls Faraha, noticing that Elif isn't well. Faraha asks what happened. Elif responds, "I need to leave this house. Can you help me?" Faraha says, "Of course," and that she shouldn't even be asking that at that moment. Hira appears. Oren hands Sarah over to Hira. After Hira leaves, he tells a fife that she made a serious mistake and needs to stay away. If she had told the truth to Sarah from the beginning, she wouldn't be so close to her daughter now. Meanwhile, Aziz talks to his father. Akif notices that he's distressed and asks why. Aziz admits he hurt someone. Akif advises him, if he's sorry, he should apologize. Aziz laments that it's not that simple, as too much time has passed. Oren says that when he comes to look for her, she should say she's sick and ask him to leave, that she doesn't deserve his love, and should leave the room. Hira also sees Oren leaving the room, clearly upset, just as Elif is about to leave with her coat on. Aziz appears and wants to know where she's going. Elif responds that she's going to the city where her father is, and that she will try to find a job there. Aziz asks if she has any professional experience and questions what kind of people she expects to find. Elif asks if he's implying that they're dangerous or dishonest people. She leaves saying, "Don't worry, I've already learned from my mistakes." Later, Oren returns to the room, sits on the bed, and starts reflecting. At that moment, Hira approaches and sits next to him. She says, "Oren, you were right. A fife Demoranli regrets, but she is not worthy of forgiveness." Hira reveals that she overheard when he told Sarah about her. She saw the affection he showed for the daughter, but she says, even though he regrets it, "I don't believe he loves my daughter, because to me, he doesn't know what real love is." Despite letting her go, Aziz decides to follow her discreetly. Elif sits in a park. Faraha calls again and asks what she has decided. Elif, sadly, says her father was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Faraha offers to come to her, but Elif refuses and says she will look for work. Faraha suggests some places that are hiring and asks her to let her know afterward. Hira holds his hand. Oren asks, "Do you remember the first time you fell?" Hira answers that she has a vague memory of someone waking her up at a time when her parents were still alive. As soon as she hangs up, Elif vents alone. "I'm completely alone in this world." Aziz, listening from afar, feels like going to her, but he refrains because he knows it would only make her more upset, so he just watches from a distance. Oren shares a memory. His father took him on a picnic to the same place where they used to walk, they used to run together. There his mother showed up unexpectedly, and seeing her, he ran towards her, but tripped and fell, injuring his knee. He cried a lot. His mother, instead of comforting him, scolded him and didn't let his father help him. He went home like that. Oren comments that whenever he needs affection, he remembers that scene. Soon after, he moves away again. Elif, determined, says to herself, "Get up, Elif, from now on, it's just for yourself." He says he will never forget what a fife Demoranli did, and that he will never see Sarah again. Hira tries to contest, but Oren states that it's been 5 years since he last saw his daughter, and he finishes, "This was because of her, these are my last words." Meanwhile, AJ was shopping for the wedding and goes to Gerbu's. He is surprised to see the bags, and AJ comments that preparing a wedding is a lot of work. So she bought so many things. Gerbu's doesn't like this attitude at all and gets irritated the next morning. Oren is in his office. Hira brings him a coffee. Oren compliments her, saying that she did a good job after wishing him a good meal. Hira notices that Oren looks down and asks if something is bothering him. He then shares that he had a brother who was in prison and that he received news of his death. Hira comments, "I imagine he was important to you." She recalls that she lived with Oren for 6 years and wanted to go see the brother, but he said he couldn't go. Alif, on the other hand, arrives at a place where they're hiring a man, interviews her, and decides to hire her. Aziz watches from afar and distrusts the guy. Feeling uncomfortable, the man asks Alif to start the next day, and she leaves there excited. Hira also comments that sometimes it's necessary to give people we love a second chance. She reveals she knows what Oren told her, and he says that, even if his mother is to blame, she must be held accountable. Hira replies that he is already facing his pain. Oren asks, "Do you think I'm being unfair?" Hira just asks him to think more about the situation on the road. Alif meets Faraha and happily tells her she got a job. Faraha is thrilled with the news. Alif says, "I finally got a job. Soon I'll be earning my own money and I'll be able to pay off my debt." She says she has forgiven Oren several times, but this time he went too far, trying to distance Sarah. He leaves the room saying, "This story is over forever." Hira is deeply shaken, but soon after, the man who had promised to employ Alif calls her to say that the job was cancelled because a relative of his will take the position. Alif ends the call, disappointed. In fact, it was Aziz who forced him to say that. He even went as far as to attack the man. Aziz returns home disturbed and lost in thought. He goes to see Akif. During their conversation, Aziz confesses that Alif invited him to go with her, but then left him behind, and now he believes she hates him after Akif leaves. Alif approaches Aziz and says she already knows the whole truth. Aziz asks, "What exactly do you know?" Alif reveals that she found out that he attacked the restaurant owner to prevent her from being hired. Aziz quickly asks, "Did he tell you this?" Alif replies that, at first, she doubted, but now she is sure. She is outraged. "How could you have the courage to do that?" "It was a terrible thing to do," Aziz answers, saying it wasn't an easy decision. Oren asks, "Do you remember the first time you fell?" Hira answers that she has a vague memory of someone waking her up at a time when her parents were still alive. Oren shares his own memory. His father took him for a picnic in the same place where they used to walk. They used to run together until his mother appeared by surprise, and upon seeing her, he ran towards her, but tripped and fell, hurting his knee. He cried a lot. His mother, instead of comforting him, scolded him and didn't allow his father to help. He went back home like that. Oren comments that whenever he needs affection, he remembers that scene. Alif insists that she needs to pay off her debt to leave. Aziz, in turn, says that the man has a history of inappropriate behavior. Alif assures that she knows how to defend herself. Aziz then says, "You are like a bird perched on the edge of the window." Alif retorts, "Don't go back to being someone insignificant." Hira holds Oren's hand while he reflects on what happened with Afif and the consequences of his actions. He says he will never forget what Afif Demiranli did and that he will never see Sarah again. Hira tries to argue, but Oren states that he has already spent 5 years without seeing his daughter, and he finishes, "This was because of her, these are my last words." Meanwhile, Afif and Sarah are in the park, trying to enjoy a moment together. Afif fears Oren's reaction, but Hira reassures her, saying that he won't arrive before the evening. Afif eventually agrees, and they walk calmly. Sarah climbs on the swing, and her grandmother asks, "Can you push me a little?" While Afif swings the toy, Oren looks for Hira. In the middle of the conversation, he hears Sarah asking, "Grandma, push a little faster." This makes Oren angry, and he approaches, observing everything with a look of frustration. Then, a bagel seller passes through the park. Sarah runs to her mother, asking to buy some. Curious, she asks Afif if she would like to try as well. Afif responds that she has never bought bagels on the street and doesn't think she would have the courage, but comments that if it's with her, maybe it would be fun. Upon hearing this, Hira decides to follow the simit seller. At that moment, Oren arrives and asks Hira about the reason. "I'm doing this for Sarah." She replies. Sarah then declares how much she loves her grandmother. Oren, in turn, decides not to get involved anymore, but when he is about to leave and says he won't find Hira, She stops him and asks him to stay calm, saying that Sarah will be devastated if he causes a separation between them. Oren agrees and says he will keep his distance from the girl. Just at that moment, Sarah sees Oren and runs towards him worried. Afif runs after her, trying to stop Sarah from reaching the street. When Sarah is about to be hit by a car, Afif manages to stop her in time, but ends up being hit in her place.